Art is what you make of it. For some, art is a way of speaking about their issues. For others, art is for showing the characteristics that are unseen. One can say that the purpose of art is for beauty and truth. Beauty in terms of aesthetics and truth in terms of the message. Art is a depiction of faith, bringing to life what existed in our imagination. Art is life.
So today is day 4 of the project. We skipped day 3. Yesterday was supposed to be day 3, but we couldn't film because a lot of things were going on. But since today is day 4, I'm just gonna give you a quick recap of what happened in day 3. So Nlamwai finished the painting. The painting took longer than I actually thought it was going to take. I think I underestimated the amount of time it takes to make a painting. But he finished it, and then I finished making the base of the dress. I had to come in at night and finish it, but I did. And then yesterday, I finally got to see the painting, and we went to print it out. So I have the painting with me. And then I was supposed to meet up with Lulutho yesterday, but she wasn't feeling okay. So we couldn't meet up, but obviously I had to continue with the process, and so I started working on the base, the top part, and I put the painting on top. So that really made me feel like we are getting somewhere in the process. And then we couldn't meet yesterday, so I'm meeting up with her today. She's gonna come in for a fitting, and then she'll also get to see the painting. And then later on, I'm meeting with Luchwayito, who is gonna come so that we can talk about the photo shoot concept for the dress. So the dress has to be done by today, and I've only done the top part and it's not even finished. So that's a lot of work, but we have to finish today.
My name is Lulutho and I am 22 years old. What do I do? Currently, I'm an independent actress and model and creative director for Gemini. I would say I started taking modeling seriously actually last year, when I was carefully curating the work and doing work that I specifically wanted to do. Okay, so how would I describe myself in 3 words? Creative, curious. I want to find a synonym for liberated, but I can't think of it now. But liberated, but limited, I don't know. So all things are like modeling, performance, creative direction. What I love about all those things is the element of storytelling. I think one of the things that I've always loved about all the things that I do is my motto has always been to be of service, in the sense that I want to tell my own stories through whatever medium of work I'm doing, and maybe even other people's stories. So just having the ability to be able to tell all those stories through all these different mediums, because I mean, there is an element of let me just stand there and look pretty with modeling, but when I started to take it seriously, every concept or everything that I do, most of the things I do creative direct myself, but when I do it, it's not just to look pretty all the time. Sometimes it's me trying to tell a certain story about maybe my life, something I'm going through, or maybe a conversation I might have had, or something that I think could really speak to someone else. Challenges is it going to pay off? I think that's the biggest thing, because for the most part, I think the creative freedom I have, it's definitely an advantage that I don't think most people have. But like, obviously, in this capitalist society that we live in, I think also being in Makanda, it's a small town. The way that we live is vastly different from where we still plan to go. Because most of us, being creatives, we probably want to land up in the big city and all those things. So just hoping that it's going to pay off, that I'm not just doing this for, can I cuss? Yeah, just hoping that I'm not doing this for shits and giggles in the long run. But I think that's probably like the biggest challenge, the not knowing of it. But yeah.
Hi Lulu. Hi. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Come. Anati, don't you want to be that side? No.
Which side?
That side.
Okay.
15 minutes, let's do this. Are you wearing tights underneath?
No.
Okay. Good. I think you can record this. It's fine. I'm gonna give you tights for Sheila. Do you want them long, short? Whatever. Actually, these ones are the only ones I can find.
Opinions in the modeling industry, I would say that I do feel like they're trying to be more diverse, but it's not fast-paced enough. Like, I think at least what I notice for myself is there's a certain era of certain people that are like the it girl or the it guy, or the people that really stand out the most. If I look at certain Instagram pages, you always see sort of like the same faces. It's always the same faces. So that's why I'm like, I feel like there's always this era where it's like these people are like the it girl or the it guy.
No, I'm really excited. I already saw the designs. Really excited.
So what is Tessa currently doing with you now, especially someone you've worked with her before? So what is she doing with you now?
She's basically like working on the base of the dress and just measurements and things like that, making sure it's going to fit properly.
Okay. And you trust the process? Because usually you'd be like, this is just white paper.
No, I trust the process. I really do.
Okay.
I've seen what she can do.
Ooh. You know what, as I've said, Grahamstown is a small space, and when you are here, you can have the illusion that you have made it, and you can have the illusion that you have established yourself. But then when you go outside of this town, you realize that, oh my God, there's so many creatives out there, there's so many people that you're competing with to find a light or to find a spot that you can shine on. And so being here, I guess really I know that once I'm out of this space, I have to work really hard so that I can establish myself out of this space. And I know that going outside of this space, I have to start from the beginning. It's gonna be like all the work that I have done so far means nothing. It means something to the people who were here and people I was able to share the work with while I was here. But going on to a different space, I'm starting from zero, and really that's the challenge that I'm anticipating, that I have to start from the bottom. Okay. I think we're good. Yeah.
So what process is this, Tessa?
So this is the base. So we're making the base, and we are trying out the pattern to see how it's gonna sit on her body. And I hope it's gonna look proper, because right now it's looking like, yeah. Okay.
Good. My experience of being an artist or creative in Makanda is that it's been very liberating, especially for a small town. I think small towns, a lot of the time you expect there to be no culture, not a lot of things happening, but like it's literally all these people from all these different worlds. We're all in this small town and we're just learning from each other. And I've learned the beauty and the downside of collaboration here, where I do think collaboration is a very important thing, kind of like what we did here. But then sometimes I've found instances where people want to take advantage of you all in the name of collaboration, because I think people have a sense of, okay, you're doing this thing, whether it be photography, modeling, or so, and you're taking it really seriously. But I don't know, I think maybe because we're in a small town, people think that they don't have to pay you for your services. And I'm like, you know, so it's a different thing if maybe you and I sat down together, had a conversation. I'm like, you know, let's do something together. These are the skills that I have, these are the skills that you have, there were no expectations. But if you actively pursue me for a service and you want me to be of assistance, you come like, let's collaborate, all in the name of, you know. But for the most part, I will say it's been liberating. Some of the greatest relationships I've ever had, creatively and otherwise, were birthed from being in Makanda. And just, I've learned a lot from other creators as well. Also just the ability that you don't have to be a one-trick pony. I think you can be really great at one thing, but you can also expand your horizons, because you don't have to just limit yourself into photography. There's other skills that you can learn. Not to say divert away from the things that you're doing, and people are willing to teach here. I've also learned, and people are also willing to learn. So I think those are one of the main things that I've picked up being a creative in Makanda.
So what are you doing now?
What is it? I am tracing the base on the actual on the painting.
It's all week and I'm not allowed to let you guys work.
It's all week or what week?
I am tracing this into this. So you see the lines? Well, they're barely visible, but they are there. I'm so mad
Why?
because I have to take this in and it takes away this beautiful flower.
Take what in?
I have to take it in like this. And then the flower is gone. Okay. Last one, and then we're done.
Stop.
I am Luchwayito. I am a visual artist, but my practice or discipline is photography. I'd describe myself as in 3 words, right? I love music. Is that 3 words? Yeah, I love music, and I'd really like just describe my entire essence. I wanted to find a medium where I can express myself artistically, and yeah, like I look at like image creation or taking pictures. I don't want to say taking pictures because I create pictures. I don't take pictures. I create pictures. So yeah, a huge part of that is influenced by like the creation of music, like putting together different elements to make something. Yeah, so I got introduced to photography through music because I wanted to tell stories, and yeah, it's that vehicle. What I love about what I do is that, like, in a way, I am documenting my existence, but not just my existence. Like, I am documenting my human experience. So it's like, okay, let me start off by saying, as you grow up, you get to realize like a lot of things. You realize a lot of things by you making sense of what's in front of you or like what's happening around you, and much of that isn't really like, you don't need to get taught how to interpret certain things, but it's just like based on how you feel and how you process everything. So as I am maturing and I am growing up, I am realizing more and more, and like day after day, that actually like our entire existence is based on social constructs. So you find that like we exist in a world where it's already been built on social constructs. So what like really inspires, or like what I love about what I do, is that I get to detach from the social constructs, in the sense that like in much of my work I tap in my imagination a lot, that gives me room to exist outside the social constructs. Society doesn't look at what I'm doing as something really important in the future, you know, like um, in my own sense, when I think about it, it does make sense because I'm documenting. This is all like part of like just the human experience, and like it's for the future generations to have reference, you know, because to know where you're going, you have to know where you're coming from. So I am literally creating references for the future, you know, that these exist. Black people did exist. These ideas did exist. You know, so yeah. It's literally just like trying to balance that. And how long do you have for this? I have like a very long answer to your question. um, but yeah, like I was just thinking, like even coming here, I was thinking about this because um, much of what I do, and if I would look myself and think of myself as a student, right? I am a student academically and a student of the craft, right? So I am constantly working on the craft because that's one thing that I know is on my hands. Like that's something that I can actually like construct my future around, you know. So I constantly have to work around that. But now the thing is when like I'm slacking academically, like I'm not giving my best, and the parents, the ones that like are supporting me financially for like my academics, when they look at my academic performance, it doesn't like satisfy them, and maybe they see a future for myself like within the academic realm, you know, and yeah, it's just trying to like accept that idea that like what I'm doing is actually, I don't know how to put it, but I feel like most of my university experience, I've been a good student of the craft more than I am in the classroom. So that balance is it depends on like how you perceive it, you know. You can say that, oh, I'm not a good student academically, but in my craft, I am exceptional, you know. So yeah, it's one of those things, man. I was thinking about that on the way because I am looking at my progress and my journey. I'm like, I graduated as an emerging creative. I've been on like global platforms. So if you were to like take that classroom mentality and put it on that, I am doing well. But like if you're gonna put me in a classroom and look at how I regurgitate what you are telling me, and I'm not really learning because I'm regurgitating what you want to hear and like how you want me to like, you know. So yeah, it's that the challenge for me is like balancing the two, academic through a social construct, and just like trying to be the best student that I can for the craft.
Okay, so I wanted to ask you something because you studied photography and you kind of have a degree in photography. You do.
Do I?
You do because you did 3 years. So that means you have a degree in photography. Yeah.
In
In
invisible.
journalism.
Yeah,
In
yeah,
journalism.
yeah.
So then, would you say that it was beneficial for you studying photography?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. It's something that like I will never take for granted because remember, it's all storytelling. Journalism is like the fundamentals of storytelling. If you want to tell a story, you better know how to tell a story. You know. So yeah, that 3 years of studying journalism, it really like helped me in the way that I know how to approach like a story, but like in my own way now, because some of the challenges that I face in the work that I do um, at school, like balancing school and the craft. Um, as I said, like I'm a student, but at the same time, I'm a student of the craft. So I constantly have to like work on the craft and like sharpen the craft to get where I want to be. But also I need to like focus on my academic work because as I was saying, like we exist within the social constructs where for you to be anything, you have to have a qualification, right? You have to get a job. Yeah, that's the social standard of like success or whatever. You have to get a job. Um, you have to study, dog. You have to get a job. You have to get a qualification. I mean, that's why we're in school, right? But once I look at it, what I'm doing, I'm actually like being a student of what I'm doing and what I'm passionate about, but society won't recognize that. So I constantly have to sharpen that because I have set goals for myself of where I want to be in the future. And I won't just get there by, I have to constantly work on myself. I have to sharpen the craft. I have to constantly be working. So I try and like balance school and balance like working on the craft, and that's been the biggest challenge for me.
So my session with Luchwayito went pretty well. It was just very easy conversing with him because that's just who he is as a person. And one thing about him, he will get you thinking about a lot of things. Um, got me thinking about the meaning and interpretation of this painting, which at this point I have no clue about. At this point, it's just a beautiful painting that we are gonna use to make a dress, that we're using to make a dress and have a photo shoot. I'm looking forward to that. We've settled on what we're gonna be doing tomorrow, and I am excited.